Welcome to the fourth episode of The Way to Change. In the previous episode, we talked maybe too much about the first part of the route, and now it's time to move on and finally see how the second part looks like. After the first chain of the first pitch, there is this small roof that is not that hard. I think I climbed the first time I tried it. It's just a bit sketchy because the previous quick throws is very far under my feet, but then it's not too hard. And then I arrived to a big jug here with both my hands, and I have this knee bar. It is quite good knee bar, but not very good to release both hands. I just can rest a few seconds here. And from here, the second crux of change starts. Even if this part is really overhanging, is an horizontal roof, it's quite technical because there are a lot of heel hooks with the right foot and toe hooks with the left foot, and doing some mistakes, putting really maybe just a bit bad the heel or the toe will cause a fall. Why with my feet I'm always heel hooking or toe hooking? The handholds are really bad. There are some pinches, some crimps, and some really tiny crimps. And as in the first pitch of change, one of the hardest moves is a swing. But then it's not over. After traversing the horizontal roof, now it's time to go straight up. And the problem with this part is the holds were often wet. The next hold, after this clipping that I then would change and clip from another position, this hold here, after this long move, it was quite often really wet. So every time I had to go up with the Jumar on my first go, try to dry as much as I can with the towels, and then go down and then do some attempts, hoping that will stay dry, but most of the time will be wet again after just maybe half an hour. And these two right hand holes here were the worst. Every time they were wet, and I try every time to dry them with towels, and then sometimes I forgot the towels and dry them with my shirt, hoping they would stay dry until the next attempt. And from this angle you can see better the small roof part. Here in front of my face there is the first anchor of the first pitch, and from here starts this easy roof part, but the feet were not the best, so I have to be careful not to fall traversing this roof. The hands hold were pretty good instead. And then I reach this rest position here, not very comfortable, where I clip this long quick throw. I didn't have a very long quick throw, so I had to attach more quick throw on the same bolt, and this technique is used to reduce the rope drag, because until the end would be very hard to pull if I just put one quick throw on the bolt. And this knee bar was not good enough to release both hands, but was okay to rest before the second crux. Then small crimps with the good helix are the next part, and in this part my beta was quite similar to Adam's one, going this right hand, and then I just take another hold at this small crimp to go to this open pinch with my right hand, and this precise heel hook to extend to the left. Then this swing was quite hard, and this was the hardest heel hook that I have to release to do the swing. This was one of the hardest part of the second crux. Then from here there is this long move, which is quite hard, and from there I would clip this quick throw that I clipped before during the real attempts. And then there are some small crack creams from which I clip this quick throw, but in the real attempts I just skipped it because it was useless to clip it, and the fall would be quite safe, I think. And from here these two wet holes were always wet. Now I try to dry my hand on the pants, but it was useless. Fortunately it wasn't a real attempt from the ground. And this shoot was taken from the drone, fixed far away from the wall, and it was the first time I actually climbed the whole second crux of change, starting from the anchor of first pitch and going until the next rest. It was after the send of the first pitch, and I think was the end of August, and I was quite confident, but before I never climbed the whole part. I was quite at my limit here, and now you can see how hard is the next move from this angle. But I think the hardest move of the whole second crux was the long move going to the right after these small creams. These holes were really bad. Then I have this dropped me, and this I think was the hardest move of the crux, where I fell twice during the real attempt. And after this there was a good hole with the left, and then a good crack with the hands, often wet. But the hardest part here was smearing with the feet on this vertical wall, and I was afraid my feet would just slip and hit my face against the wall, but then it never happened. The feet here were really bad, but then I reached this rest position here that was quite good and marks the half of the route. And now another video from another angle to show you the small creams and the hardest cracks of the second cracks. After this crack here, smearing the feet on a really bad feet, I reached this good rest that marks the half of the route. Even if the hardest part of the route was over, the next part was really long, and I had to fight a lot to climb until the chain. And you will see the next part of the route in the next episode of The Way to Change.